but they ignore the elephant in the room, which is that Hillary Clinton broke the law repeatedly in her mishandling classified information. And along those lines, Judicial Watch has a lawsuit that it's been pursuing, and one of many, over the Clinton emails that has resulted in the FBI turning over to the State Department the emails that it recovered that Hillary Clinton either tried to delete or hide from the American people, congressional investigators, and Judicial Watch and the courts. And those emails have been coming out to us in dribs and drabs. The State Department wanted to slow walk those emails, but a judge in one of our cases said, no, you got to move along faster. And so the tens of thousands of pages of emails are coming out to us and will be complete, presumably, released to us by, completely released to us by September of this year. So we're getting them out, I think, once a month, once every 6 weeks or so. And so the latest batch has 10 classified emails that Hillary Clinton hid from you, the American people. And they concern Middle Eastern peace. And the other emails show more intersection, hand in glove, working between the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton State Department, and the Clinton cash machine, which is, they're all part of the same, but in this case specifically, Bill Clinton's speaking fee racket, where he was going abroad, getting money from foreign interest and six-figure speaking fees from foreign interest, while his wife was Secretary of State. So the 10 emails that we have gotten from the State Department include, the hundreds of pages include 10 emails that are classified. And they are largely discussions with, including top State Department officials and Hillary Clinton, because they're Clinton emails, discussions with Tony Blair, who's the former Prime Minister for the United Kingdom. And they're classified. They're talking about Middle Eastern peace. Some of it isn't classified, but the substantive material, it looks like, is classified. And one document, and it's just sitting out there, is completely redacted because it's classified. I printed it out on green paper so you can see the fact that it's blank more clearly. So this whole square is just one big redaction. And about half of this page, you can't see that directly, is redacted as well. So 10 new classified classified documents on Hillary Clinton's email that Judicial Watch uncovered, not Congress, and it wasn't voluntarily disclosed. We had to sue the State Department to get access to the information, and they wanted to stonewall the release. I'm not a prosecutor, I'm not a lawyer. Would each email be another count in an indictment over the mishandling classified information? I don't know. But that's the sort of focus this Justice Department needs to have. And other emails just show like the shady approach that they took to getting Bill Clinton speaking engagements abroad. And there's this one email I want to point out to you. I got a lot of paper here today, so forgive me. There's an email from a lawyer in town here in D.C., actually in Dallas, and he sends an email to a friend, and he says, Ed, the Basque region in Spain wants to bring him in to give a speech, and a large bank is willing to pay for it. Who are the gatekeepers? Please call me to discuss. So Ed sends the email to Jake Sullivan, who works for Hillary Clinton, who passes it to Yuma Abedin, who works for Hillary Clinton. And, they give the information out. So this lawyer, on behalf of the Basque region in Spain, I don't even know what that means. Is it the Basque government? The Basque separatists in Spain? I don't know. I have to look up Haynes Boone a little bit more closely in the partner's name here. And the State Department is the vehicle for getting this done. I don't think the speech ever took place, but this was the approach they took. And there are other documents showing the illicit connections between the foundation and the State Department. Remember, Hillary Clinton, when she came into office, and as a condition of her employment as Secretary of State, promised that she wouldn't be involved in State Department business. But her entire State Department was set up in a way to make sure the Clinton Foundation donors were taken care of. The top officials were constantly getting email traffic from the Clinton Foundation to take care of donors and Clinton Foundation interests.
Let's bring in Republican Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona. He sits on the House Judiciary Committee. He is a member of the Conservative Freedom Caucus. Sir, let's start with the questions at hand. What do you make of them? Where do you think they came from? You know, do you think, do you question the veracity of any of them? What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's not surprised that they've been leaked, obviously. I mean, things that have been leaking from Robert Mueller. His ship is a sinking ship because it's full of leaks. So that doesn't surprise me, and it doesn't. I think they're probably the real questions that Mr. Mueller wants to get at. And what's problematic for me is this shows that he has gone clearly outside the channels of what he was supposed to be looking at. He is no longer looking at Russian interference in the election and whether there was some kind of a conspiracy between the Trump campaign and the Russians. He's looking for anything. He's investigating President Trump. He's not investigating a crime. And so that's why you've got all the mens rea or the culpable middle state questions that are in there that are left wide open, because what he's trying to do is find out if President Trump is going to come in and say, well, I knew this, or I thought this, or I intended this. That's important if you're going to try to set up a crime. And,
but
because you have to have that state.
These are coming out of Mueller's team. I mean, what would their motivation be for tipping their hand and leaking the questions?
Well, I think on one hand, he's got to convince the people that support him that he's doing something and that he's on to something. And this makes it look like he's at least going to be going after obstruction of justice. And so he's trying to assuage, I think, even the folks within his own supporters who might be saying, look, you know, we've been going on a long time. We better get something done. And that's what happens, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, although to that point, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No.
Adam Schiff is somebody who doesn't feel that way, who didn't feel bolstered by these questions. Listen to what he had to say.
I want this special counsel to be looking at the issue of money laundering. Those questions are not included. Does that mean that the special counsel is observing the red line the president has tried to draw? In my view, the president is not permitted to draw a red line.
So, Congressman, not everybody who's behind the counsel was happy with these questions. Right,
and I agree with that. But I think even what Adam is asking for, he's asking for questions about money laundering. That's outside the channels that Mr. Mueller was supposed to be looking at. And that's getting to the whole thing. They want the people who want to bring President Trump down. They're willing to go wide and broad to investigate anything, and that's why they're investigating him. They're not investigating the crimes that they were asked to investigate.
So you're a member of the House Freedom Caucus. The caucus drafted articles of impeachment against Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General. What was the point of that, and do you think it'll get any traction?
Well, I think that's what I would call the last option. I mean, what we've looked at is, and the things that we've been, well, you and I have been discussing. Mr. Mueller is way outside the bounds. Mr. Rosenstein is supposed to be overseeing him. Mr. Sessions is so far removed from running the DOJ that it really is bothersome. And I think we look at it and we say, well, this is maybe it's aspirational, maybe it's a point of discussion internally, and I don't think it's ready to move certainly anytime soon.
Are you afraid of the backlash that might come from this?
Well, you know, we get backlash over virtually everything the Freedom Caucus does. So, yeah, there'll be backlash here for sure. But, I mean, the bottom line is people are tired of watching the Department of Justice and the things that we've discovered with the DOJ and the FBI at the highest levels where there appears to be corruption for political purposes to gain and control the presidential election. I think people expect us to do something in Congress, and that includes the investigation. I think it asks for maybe sometimes you have to come in and say maybe we should impeach somebody.
You know, I mean, no matter who you blame for it, a lot of Americans have lost faith in, you know, in the Department of Justice in terms of not being political and worrying about that our criminal justice system has been politicized and used for political gain. How do you think you restore the faith of the American people now?
Well, I think one thing that would go a long way is to remove the people that have been miscreants there. I mean, people like Rod Rosenstein, who's been at the hub of the spokes of everything, going all the way back to the Uranium One and the email of Hillary Clinton. I mean, these people say there's two sets of justice. If you're elite and Washington connected, you're going to get a different treatment than you are if you're out in the field. You look at, I mean, what happened to Cheryl Mills, who she's the attorney for Hillary Clinton. She's treated with kid gloves and gets to basically control the process. But if you're Mr. Cohen representing former private attorney to Mr. Trump, you're out of luck.
All right.
Then this is going to keep happening. But we'll talk to DeSantis about this. And, well, a simple question, all of you. Is this something that Ron DeSantis should apologize for? Because this is now the new thing. This is the new thing of the day, that he should apologize. What was that diminutive guy's name, the little guy? I think he's a smart guy. He's done well in business. What's his name? Who was the White House press secretary for 5 seconds? Oh, Scaramucci, right. Scaramucci was on with that Allison Camerata, and Allison Camerata was pushing this. Well, you know, what do you think about this, Anthony? Let's listen.
Why do you think he hasn't apologized? Because that's what these guys do. They don't apologize. They don't like apologizing because they think it's a sign of weakness. And so the average American is scratching their head at that. I mean, we learned in like some time in the second grade, if you didn't do the right thing, you offer up an apology. I cannot imagine Ron DeSantis being super happy with himself that he used that statement.
Okay, so he went on, by the way, after that, to say he should come out and apologize. Do you think Ron DeSantis has anything to apologize for? What Scaramucci said is, well, if anybody perceives this as racially motivated, even if it's not, you should apologize. You see, they always want Republicans on the defensive. That's why Republicans can lose these hot contests if they get back on their heels. If he said something that was racist, of course he should apologize. But he's not a racist, and he didn't say something that was intended to be racist. And trying to get Ron DeSantis back on his heels is so transparent, and it's frankly beyond tedious at this point. And Donald Trump doesn't apologize most of the time, and people say that's a sign of weakness. Well, given the media and their move, I think they're moving in lockstep with the DNC on almost every issue. I think Trump's probably right not to apologize for most things. Because otherwise, all you do, you spend 24/7 apologizing, dancing to the tune of the left, who say the most horrific, horrible, hateful things about conservatives with impunity.
I've never been described as monkeying up anything, but that's obviously a racial dog whistle. But we're at a crossroads. We've been at crossroads before: the Civil War, Reconstruction, the Civil Rights Movement. And in each moment in which we were at a crossroads, something changed, but we've always doubled down on our prejudices. So here we are once again. We are right back where we've always been, where we have to make a decision whether or not we're going to be a racist nation.
Oh, my God. You are listening to The Laura Ingraham Show, 855-40-LAURA. Ron DeSantis, who I've known for years, does not have a racist bone in his body. He is a stellar individual. Everything that I've ever known and been exposed to about Ron DeSantis, he's a man of great character. He's a conservative. That's his sin, is that he doesn't buy into their identity politics view of the world. That's the real sin here. No. Actually, the real sin, even beyond that, is that he supports Trump. So if you support Trump and you're in the media, then they're going to do to you what they try to do to me. So when you talk about immigration and the fact that no one voted for this massive move on illegal immigration into communities across the country, when you say no one voted for this, and that we have a ridiculous policy of legal immigration that includes chain migration, extended family members, then you're a racist. If you're against affirmative action, you're a racist. If you think LeBron James shouldn't speak about the president as he speaks about the president, you're a racist. If you tease a member of the entertainment industry and say shut up and sing or shut up and act, you're a racist. So they can have their own brand of humor and satire, and you cannot question them, and you won't question them. And even if they commit what the left would consider abusive action against women, or horrific, misogynistic or hateful views toward the members of the opposite sex, and you're a liberal, you'll be given a pathway back. You see that with that Louis C.K., that comedian, is on his way back, or is back and doing comedy stuff. Chelsea Handler can say the most horrible things about Ivanka Trump. She's not going anywhere. Kathy Griffin's still headlining shows. So, Michelle Wolf might have lost her Netflix deal, but he thinks she's going to be shut down and appearing across the country? No. And I'm not even saying you should shut her down. I'm just saying it's a complete double standard. DeSantis has nothing to apologize for because he is a man of integrity, and it's obvious what he was talking about. Otherwise, he's either not a racist or he's the dumbest person ever, because he goes on national TV and uses racial language. Come on. 855-40-LAURA. Let's listen.
I'm going to talk about the DeSantis monkey comment here in a minute.
Oh, my gosh.
Why didn't he get the benefit of the doubt? Michael?
Why didn't DeSantis get the benefit of the doubt?
The assumption was that that he didn't misspeak, that it was 100% a racial dog whistle. Is it because he's connected to Trump? He didn't get the benefit of the doubt from many people, including Fox News.
Because he's connected to Trump. It's because it's how white folks talk about black men who are successful.
Michael Steele. Man, he's someone who I've known for years, former head of the RNC. I cannot believe he just said that. It's how white people talk about successful black. Can you play that again? Just the answer, James? Because again, this is Michael Steele, who used to be the head of the Republican National Committee, frequently a guest on this show, about Ron DeSantis saying you don't want to monkey things up in Florida by electing a socialist. Let's listen.
Because he's connected to Trump is because it's how white folks talk about black men who are successful.
Oh, my God. 855-40-LAURA. I am speechless that Michael Steele, who has, I guess he's making enough money in MSNBC, does he have to just say whatever the prevailing wisdom against Trump is? Otherwise, he feels like he won't keep his job. I mean, he really thinks that's. And how did he ever become head of the RNC? If white folks think that way about black people, how was Michael Steele? Was he lieutenant governor of Maryland? Right? How did he ever become any of this? If white people feel that way about black people who are successful, how did he become a well-known commentator? Let's go to Juanita, line 3. Juanita.
I am so sick of people playing the racist card. I was looking at my Facebook feed this morning. There's a post on Facebook that shows Barack Obama using the words monkeying around. So what's good for the goose is not good for the gander.
Well, apparently, if you're white, you just can't criticize an opponent at all. I mean, if you criticize an opponent, you have to every word, you have to stop after you say every word, or before you say any word. Think, okay, how will this be twisted by someone who is trying to avoid a real debate on the issues? It's ridiculous. I appreciate your comment, Juanita. Let's go to Bill in Florida, line 2. Bill.
I think this is a perfect opportunity for DeSantis and other strong conservatives to shove it back at the left by saying something like, it distresses me so much to find that so many on the left and in the media, when they hear the word monkey, think of African Americans.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. Why are they going there? Because they see everything through a racial lens. And I don't think any of them think Ron DeSantis is a racist, by the way. I really don't. I think they know they can use this because their candidate has gotten himself tangled up in a corruption probe in Tallahassee and is mayor of this city that has the worst crime in all of Florida. And he's a socialist, and Florida's not going to elect a socialist. I don't care how much money Tom Steyer spends in Florida.